Alright folks, please go ahead and share the show if you haven't done so. The show going to start very soon. Go ahead and share the show, everybody, please. Enjoy the music as we await our guests. Alright?
Barala.
Share the show, folks. Share the show. If you haven't shared the show, please go ahead and share it. Today's show is going to be very, very, very interesting. We have a psychologist, a young, one of the brilliant Liberian professionals that we have. His name is Steve Boley. Some people call him Moses. He's going to be with us very shortly. So go ahead and share the show, everybody. All right? This is Afu Keita. Ivorian International Afu Keita is the one I'm playing right now. Share the show, everybody. We'll be starting very soon. Share the show. You know, some people don't like to see me dancing because they're jealous, they can't dance. Share the show, everybody, please. The guests will be here very soon. Share the show. Share the show. If you share, I can know that you share. If you haven't shared, then that's not you. Somebody says CDC representative in Leeds, London is on. That's good. You're welcome, CDC representative. Just share the show, everybody. CDC representative, share the show, please. And when I make me very fast, start dancing out. Ashford Gali want to challenge me, now you can. I can see Ashford Gali already here. I'm talking about the giant. The giant of the British radio. So share the show if you haven't done so, alright?
Madame Pilar, je les regarde. À toi, mon papa, Ahmed Bakayoko. Suba.
This show is about to start. You calling me? Hey. Hey, I just heard somebody saying that I should play global music so he can dance or she can dance. So if you want me to play the global music, send it to me. Just inbox me on YouTube, your YouTube link. I will play the global music. You know, I'll play all the music. Global music, Bassa music, Pele music, Madigo music, I don't care. I'll play Malian music, Ivorian music, Guinean music. You know, we are Pan-Africanists. We are Pan-African, so we play all African music. It doesn't matter. Somebody says Zuba. I like that. Who is this person, man? The person that says Zuba. That person really want me to dance. But you're not sharing the show, folks. You're not sharing the show. Go ahead and share the show, man. I'll forget that one more time, the show starting. Because you're not sharing, so I gotta share the show myself. I just saw somebody writing saying that seeing me joining the CDC. I mean, you should keep dreaming. It's called wishful thinking. Keep dreaming. That's okay. Me joining CDC. What CDC has right now? There's nothing in the CDC that will really attract any good people. There's nothing there. So just share the show, folks. We're about to start the show in a few minutes. I'm just sharing the show as well. So the person who was saying they're looking at me joining the CDC. Keep dreaming. You live on dreamland. Me, CDC. I'm not even joining any party anyway. I'm not part of any political party. I'm part of Liberia party. If you got a party, then count on me. So the show starting in a few minutes. I'm just trying to make sure that the guest is around here. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna try to at least give you an idea as to what you're about to listen to, what you're about to hear. We have some information about the statistics as to the number of people being tested in Liberia, the number of people that have been tested positive to one negative, the number of deaths, and the countries that they are in. We'll give you all those information. And also, one of the things that you would like to know is that before I left this, my son is really, really enjoying his video down there, just laughing. Let me go quiet. We can continue the show. I'm going to turn off your All right, folks. I want to say good evening or good afternoon. Wheresoever you find yourself, I want to welcome you to SKTV, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Sekou Kene. As always, today we have the privilege to have with us Steve Bolle, commonly known as Moses. Today we're going to be discussing coronavirus. We're going to be discussing the psychological aspect of coronavirus, the psychological impact on the people of Liberia, current and post COVID-19, current and post COVID-19 psychological effect, how it's going to affect our people, how it's going to look like. In the meantime, while we await our guests, let me give you some very important information. Maybe some of you have it already, but for those of you who don't have it, it's important that you get these numbers. According to what we have here, We're going to go by county to county. Number of confirmed cases all together. The one, if you look at the whole number all together, in Montserrat County, no, let me see if I, number of new cases, actually, number of new cases that have been reported. Okay, these are new cases. All right, it looks like the guest is here, but let me see first. I will pause myself for a second. The guest just signaled me that he's here, and I think with that, what I will do, I will just pause for a second, and you listen to the video for that few seconds. Let me make the adjustment to bring the guest live, because the guest was not ready when we were on. So just bear with us. I'm giving you the information right now. So Steve, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, okay. Okay, push back a little bit so your head can be covered. Yeah, okay, exactly. All right, this is very clear. You hear me right?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Just be right there. Let's take us to the main screen.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
All right. All right, folks, we have the guest here already, so we're going to be bringing him right now. Share the show, everybody. Share the show. But you got to be in a particular position. Don't come close to the camera so your hair will not cover something. Yeah, I challenge Alpha Gali on the dancing floor.
And what you say about it?
I'm still waiting for Alpha Gali to come anyway. Yeah, but anyway, let's get to the show, my brother.
Madame Pilar, je les regarde. À toi, mon papa, Ahmed Bakayoko. Suba.
All right. Good evening again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to say thank you to all of you. Today, Steve, you are looking at your phone. The people watching you now already. So I want to say thank you to all of you for joining us. Today we have the privilege and the opportunity to have with us Brother Steve Boley. He's a psychologist, somebody who we know is already working on his PhD in psychology. That is very impressive, very, very encouraging. So today we have the opportunity, the privilege to have him here to discuss the coronavirus and the trauma associated with coronavirus, the current and the future of Liberia, and the effect of coronavirus, psychological impact it will have on our people, and how we can together minimize that trauma, and in a way that in a way that Liberia will always, be the first. Brother Steve Boley, I know you're watching your phone. Welcome to the SKTV, and good evening or good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Thanks for the invite, and I do appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
All right, who is Steve Boley, by the way?
Well, as always, whenever I have the opportunity to speak to the Liberian people, I always like to ensure that I reference them because they're the most important people on earth.
Can you move back a little bit so you're here whenever you or recover? Yeah, exactly.
In my honest view, I think they're the most important people on earth, and that's just a fact that I've bear in mind. I also believe 100% and think that the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth, and that is a fact I've carried with me all through my life, and it's based on different factors. I originate from Liberia originally. I originate from Lofa County and Maghibie County, both counties. I'm a doctoral student. I'm at the very end of the stretch. It's been a long way, but I thank God. I'm also, I earned my master's in professional counseling in psychology. I have a bachelor's in Christian studies. I have a 1 unit of CPE. Now, what that means in the common terms is it means clinical pastoral education. Most of the times, it's the spiritual aspect of counseling or psychology. That is the spiritual aspect of it. And most of the time, you serve as chaplain or you serve in different areas to address different spiritual needs based on trauma, stress, and other things as well. So for my entire life, I think I've studied human being and I've studied God for the most part. And so I think I'm very excited to be here. I know this is it's taking forever for me to come on here as a guest. We always push it every time we have this conversation, but I'm here to, like you said, definitely share as much as we can and participate as well. But I want us to bear in mind that it's been a good time, and it's always a good time being on your show and on other platforms to share knowledge and learn as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Before you came on, we were actually talking about the number of cases in Liberia, and we were talking about at least counties reported so far based on the data we receive. Okay, if you look at it, the new cases in like addition of cases on a daily basis is altogether is 91. Out of that 91, you have 10 new cases. And out of that 91, 88%, 88 of that number came from Monserrate alone. It means that the thing is on a very, very fast pace. It's running out. And then 1 case in Grand Cru County and 2 cases in Nimba County. Then number of sample collected all together is 602. 602 cases collected in sample collected in Liberia. And among that, if you look at it to show you how fast it's going, you have 76 new ones. 76 new cases out of the 602 cases sample collected. And in that sample collected, 574 in Monserrado alone. You have 21 in Grand Cruz County and have 7 in Nimba County. I hope people are taking notes, and now still to say by everybody to just follow exactly the importance of this discussion. Because to tell you the severity and how bad this thing is for us to discuss it. To also know some detailed information as to what is really going on in our country. Based on the information reported, this could be accurate, this could even be understated or underreported. Now, I just talked about the sample. Then the confirmed cases from routine surveillance. Routine surveillance, I think you know what that is. Confirmed cases on that is about 87 and 5 new ones. And that 87 and 5 new ones, 85 of those people are from Monserrado County. 1 from Grand Cruz and 1 from Nimba County. Then confirmed cases among travelers, people that travel to Liberia. The confirmed cases among those people is 4. 4 cases confirmed from people that travel to Liberia.
Right.
Okay, there's no new one. And among the 3 confirmed cases from traveler, 4 cases from traveler, the 3 of them are in Monserrado County and 1 in Nimba County. Then, number in isolation confirmed. People that are in isolation are confirmed. That's already gone to 60. 4 new ones. And in that 60, 58 of those people in Monserrado County. I'm reading to you information that we receive and that is credible from people responsible for this coronavirus in Liberia. And then out of the 62, you have 58 in Monserrado County, 1 in Nimba and 1 in Grand Cruz. Then you come to number of death, confirmed death. They say 8. 8 people already died. The 8 people that already died, one of them is a new one. There's a new one. The other one happened a little while ago. We'll have one of it is a new one. And out of the 8 people that died, according to the report, 7 of them happened in Monserrado County. 0 in Grand Cruz County, 1 in Nimba County, according to the report. Okay. Now, the last one. Number of healthcare workers confirmed. Listen to this. Number of healthcare workers confirmed to be infected with this coronavirus in Liberia is 19. 19 healthcare workers already affected. And all of those 19 people are in Monserrado County. 0 in Grand Cruz County, 0 in Nimba County. That brings us to the end of this statistic. But I want to make a statement before I give you I give you a chance to talk. This is just because testing is being done in Monserrado. This is why, because testing is going on or has happened in Grand Cruz and Nimba County. What about those counties that had no testing going on? Right. Especially counties close to Monrovia. No testing going on in Magibi, in Buchanan, in Cape Mount, Bomi, River G, all those nearby counties to Monserrado County. You could imagine
Mm-hmm.
if testing were done in those areas, where we would be. We also have some information about how, in the limited number of equipments in Liberia, you will be surprised to hear some of those information as well. But I want you to react to this information that I just shared with the people. What does this mean for our country?
First of all, let me say we're in very scary times, fearful times, stressful times. We are, and so I like to backpedal a little bit. I want to backtrack on some things. The numbers you've provided, in as much that they're factual to some extent, and I would have to agree with you that you said that other people have not been tested in other places, especially the rural areas or deep down in other areas or in other part of the countries. But the question that runs to mind is, how did this entire thing grow up to where it is now? You see, one of the things that we always talk about, and I would try in no way, shape, or form, whether it's to politicize or to make this as a blame game or so forth. But you see, one of the first things that we have to do is we have to look into what is the cause of things. And the second thing is we also have to backtrace and see where the mistakes were made so that we ourselves can be able to determine as to where this whole thing started and how can we get back into it. So I'll say to you that this whole thing started off with lies. It started off with lies. It started off with tricks. It started off with games. You know, I'm not sure the reasoning behind those things, but when you do that, you tend to lead the nation or the people into these kind of things that we are seeing, having these kind of big numbers. I'll give you a typical example. When the entire corona business started off in the United States, you will come to understand that President Donald Trump shifted the blame. He said it was a Democrat hoax. In fact, it was a made-up story, and he played with it. And we're seeing the uprising of it because people did not take precautions. People did not adhere to the measures that were put in place. So that being said, I want to say when it comes to Liberia, we go back to the genesis where people play games with this thing. They lie with a number. They try to fabricate cases and all of that. People from the opposition, some members from the ruling party and who support the president said that borders should be closed. This thing should be taken seriously. It wasn't. But I'm glad also that initiatives have been put in place, and they have been put in place now. People are taking it seriously because it's hit home. In other words, it's come maybe to the president's door, it's come to people in the government, it's come to relatives and other people, and they're seeing it. So people are taking measures. But what I want to say, based on my own understanding of what's going on in Liberia, I think the numbers that you pull out alone, they send out fear. They're very shocking, and they're fearful. They're terrorizing. They're unimaginable. Because imagine in the United States or other countries that are advanced that have good medical systems, we see how people are dying in the numbers. We see how people are suffering from respiratory problems, and then that, just thinking about it alone, just the thought of it alone, should send fear and chills down your spine. Because the truth about it is, this coronavirus issue is not a joke. And so I think one of the things we need to do now is how do we calm the fear down? How do we calm the anxiety down and the panic so that people are taking precautions instead of being afraid, instead of being fearful, instead of being stressed? That's where I will focus and I will look into right now, because the truth about it is, to curtail this thing or to be able to take hold of it, God forbid, if there's be a major outbreak, it will be harder for us considering our healthcare system. It will be very, very hard. It will be too hard. It will be devastating. Let me say it that way. But the best thing we can do now is to pass the information, treat the fear, the anxiety, and the stress so that people can take precautions to make the necessary precautionary measures so that this thing does not spread out. That's where I will focus.
Okay. So, okay, given the fact that since we are talking about psychology here, psychological effect on people. So, given the number of healthcare workers infected, 19 at this point, at least what we know, what is the psychological impact that we have on other healthcare workers, not just in Montserrat County, but in every part of Liberia. How is that going to play out? Will that also affect, the how they work, the performance, and everything?
Well, Mr. Kane, let me say this to the Liberian people. Um, the function of every human being, just before I dive into this, the function of every human being starts from two parts. It starts from the heart, and that's why I would deviate a little bit and bring us back because I want to establish the genesis of this thing. When people get pregnant, one of the first things that they notice that people get pregnant on is the beat of the heart. Now, what that is the formation of that blood. In common science, we call it zygote or however you want to term it. But what happens is that is formed, and from the heart, the next thing that is formed is the brain, the mind. Let me say this to our people. When I was growing up, we were taught that the five senses, one of the very first sense will be touching, feeling. People got different things to say about it, but the very first sense that ever emerges on any human being, the very first sense is the sense of hearing. And so you pulling out this number, if you pull out this number, if people hear about this number, other healthcare workers hear about the fact that other healthcare workers have been infected by this virus or they've contaminated this virus, they will stay away. It's a natural response. It's a natural response. And they will stay away because of two things. They will stay away because of fear and because of stress or anxiety. Now, let me bring this into context. The reason they will stay away, it's not because they're saying that we don't have the necessary protective equipment to take care of ourselves. I have a cousin, a very good friend of mine that's a nurse. Just yesterday, he told me, he said, I'm not going to sign up for this bonus things that they have in New York and other states that are affected. And the reason I'm not going to do it is because I'm afraid because other healthcare workers are getting impacted by this thing. Now, what he was saying to me in essence is he has not experienced it, but just the fact that he's heard about the numbers, he's heard about what's happening, what has happened to him, he has taken over his mind. And what he has done automatically, one of the very first things we do as human beings is to get into our protective mindset or into getting to that protective zone. And so what will happen to most healthcare workers in Liberia, they will abstain. They will stay away from the process. They will not want to sacrifice. They will not want to be called what we call the front fighters or the front runner of these things, when they should be, in essence, the very first defense system. So you will see that the more the healthcare sector is affected, the less treatment you will have, and the more the cases will rise up. Because people who are supposed to protect, prevent this thing, which are the healthcare workers, they are being the one affected. So I would say psychologically, we have to get to the point wherein we can speak to the mind. Because and one thing people in Liberia, the mindset we have about psychology that I want to clear up before we go any further is people think psychologists or people who do psychology, they are there to convince you or to fool you or to manipulate you. No, that's not truth. That is not truth. Let me lay out some of the things we do really quick so that we can understand in the context or the confines of what we do and what is the expectation of a psychologist. What are some of the work that they ought to do? First of all, we conduct scientific studies on behavior and brain functions. That's what we do. So if I come here and say to you, Mr. Kane, the government will revert into inflicting pain on the people, or if I come here and say I predict that the government will steal, what I'm telling you is I have sat down overnight or over a few days and put together some components, some pieces to be able to tell you what would be the next behavior of a person. And it's so fortunate that one of the things that I've been really focused on in my studies is human behavior. So that means I can be able to tell when I see a crook and a criminal based on some of the things they've done and based on their records and based on the things they are doing now and the strategy they are employing. And so they're needed in all areas of life. Psychologists are needed on jobs, in different jobs, in industries. They're needed in the military. They're needed in healthcare settings. They're needed in social settings. They're needed in, let's say, the police, the army. Anywhere you think about, psychologists are needed there because they have to study the mind of people, the brains of people, how people function, how they think, and how they will react. And so we are able to predict some things about people's life. So I would predict that the more healthcare workers are impacted by this, the worse it will get for the country. I want to predict that. And I know. Let me say this. I know most religious people will come and say, "God forbid, God forbid." Let me make you to take a hold on the God forbid part, because the truth of the matter is there are some things that we must do to mitigate certain things. In other words, there are some steps that we must take, some measures we must put in place to be able to put hold or put stop to certain things. If we don't do it, prayers will not be able to do it for us. Prayers will not do it for us. There are some things we must do as human beings.
All right. Just to share with you and our audience some of the information we have received here. A lot of people been asking, what are the methodology or the method used in Liberia to determine who is infected with the coronavirus or not? And according to the information I received from a very credible source, there is nothing in Liberia. There's no machine in Liberia. I'm telling you, I'm giving you this information from a credible source, from healthcare source, that there's no direct machine in Liberia for coronavirus. That they have machines that were left there for Ebola. Those are the ones that they are using to determine coronavirus. And not only that, most of the area too who are doing the testing, they do not have that machine either. So what they have in those areas, they have the testing kit. Then they will do the testing and send it. And send it to other. I'm not going to be calling the place's name here. They send it to another place. Then they will do the testing there. So that is to say, all the money business we've been talking about, we give Liberia 6 million, and Liberia, the government talking about 25 million. So it means that we do not even have testing machine in Liberia for corona. That's one. Secondly, another information I want to give you here is that in the entire area in Liberia, for the information that we have, there's an area called, there's one hospital, I don't want to call it name anyway. That is the only hospital right now that have 3 ventilators. 3. I hope you're listening, because I've just read to you information about how many people have been tested, how many people are confirmed, how many people are confirmed death, and these 3 ventilators that we're talking about is in Monserrado County. 3. 3 ventilators we're talking about is in Monserrado County. Maybe I don't want to call the hospital name, the place name. It's not even a hospital. Now, the government maybe have to go and beg those people, talk to those people, to at least help them get some oxygen machines or ventilators so they can be able to assist with the people. So, since we are talking about healthcare workers, we are not in it. Healthcare workers that are working in Liberia right now with this kind of information, because right now there's no medication for it. The only thing they can do is to give you those oxygens and giving you equipment, putting equipment on you that will help you, that will help your immune system, or that will help you breathe at least. So now, how do you imagine healthcare workers hearing this, that in the entire country there's no machine for coronavirus testing? We only have Ebola virus testing machine, and we only have, and that's like maybe like 2 or 3 in one area, and all the other area, maybe they say 1 ventilator in JFK. I don't know about that. I've not heard. I'm not getting any information on that. But the one I can confirm to you, only 3 ventilators in one area that's not even owned by the government. So what would be the psychological effect on the healthcare workers on that? in the face of all these challenges?
Well, first of all, the first thing I want to say, I want to go back a little bit. Let me say this. Let me be on the record. I think I've written it on a couple of posts, especially on Martin's posts. Some of his posts that he does, some of his presentations that he provides to the public, and I want to say thanks to Martin for doing those things and other people that are contributing. Let me say this: I've openly called for them to fire or for the Minister of Health for her to resign or to be fired. Dr. Fala, Mosoko Fala, I've called for him to be fired because I think he's a crook. I think let me say this. Let me say this. From the day, and I'm on record, from the day they announced the first case, I was on Octavius Gayman's show. I told the Liberian people that that was a lie. The government would change their story. From the day the president announced, I said the president lied that night. It was on a Monday. I went on Octavius Gayman's show in the night. I said the president lied, number one. Number two, the government would change its story. I'm on record for saying that there. And I wrote the next day, I said, all the 3 doctors that are in the healthcare ministry that are ahead of it, all 3 of them, along with some other leaders, should be fired or they should be resigned. Let me tell you why. In this kind of pandemic, what you don't want to do, you don't want to create fear and panic. You don't want to inflict any situation. You want to ensure that you pass on the rightful message to the people. The reason you want to do that is because when you provide adequate information in a timely manner, it helps a lot. It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say we as human beings, one of our natures is for us to get into flight or fright move. So let's take, for example, if the president came out and lied with the healthcare workers, I won't be on record again for saying the president lied. And I went on Focus on Africa and I said the president must apologize to the Liberian people for lying. He lied along with the healthcare workers. I will leave that another day for politics. But let's get to the psychological part of it. What they did was they inflicted fear and panic in the people when they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that. That was wrong and misinformation. That's why we keep saying, let's communicate this thing. Let's do the proper way. Let's send the information out and let's go very easy on our people in educating them what to do and how to go about this. So now that you are saying what you are saying based on the credible information that you've gotten, that just the possibility of somebody contaminating this virus or being infected by this virus might not be treated in itself is another stress that they've put on the healthcare system and on the healthcare workers. Now, let me say this. Stress is not fear, and fear is not stress. But stress and fear work together most times, and anxiety. All of them work together for the most part. One of the things you don't want to do, you do not want to put people under stress. You don't. People who get under stress, I hear people using the word, oh, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. Stress has the ability to do a lot of things. So, Mr. Kanye, I will say to you, based on your question, that the entire system, the healthcare system, is under serious stress because of the pressure now. But you see, they're under pressure now, and the fact that Dr. Fala, I will go back again, and let me go back again because I want to lay this out for the people to understand. The fact that Dr. Fala then stated, Dr. Fallas and others stated that people tested positive, and I have come out and challenged them that the very first few cases were lie. I've come out to challenge them. I listened to Dr. Fala. They walked back themselves, and they walked back most of the pronunciations that they made. But this is what they used. They said they used the PCR method to be able to test for coronavirus. And he said in one of the briefings, Dr. Fala specifically said in one of his briefings that he went ahead and they used this method, but so the journalist asking from Bridge Radio, it was a female that asking from Bridge Radio. The female said to him, Dr. Fala, well, how did you guys go about testing this as positive? And he said they use this method. Now the truth about it is, Mr. Kanye, in order to test this entire coronavirus, first of all, lab has to be involved. There has to be a lot of testing done, a lot of critical things done. First of all, Liberia never had a testing kit. Dr. Fala said they used the method, they used the samples and other things they had from Ebola. Well, the truth about it is this virus, for the truth, those who are you have 2 pharmacists on here. They will tell you, and other medical doctors will tell you that this virus pretty much has no connection to some extent to Ebola virus. They are 2 different viruses or 2 different things that are working. So how can you tell you use Ebola viral method to be able to test for this. So I knew they were lying and were playing tricks in order to get attention. They wanted to get attention. So what they did, the tricks, the lies, and everything has brought stress onto the entire system and onto the Liberian people now. That even if there is a confirmed case, we could have mitigated this thing had they just done the right thing. All we are asking people to do is do the right thing. Let's pass the right information. Let's educate our people so that they are not panicking and they're not stressed and they don't know, what not to do and what to do. So I believe that the system is stressed at this point, and at some point subsequently, I would talk to the Liberian people about what stress is and what people do in terms of stress. What human being can normally do in terms of stress, because stress is very, very much critical in our daily lives.
Well, first, if you're just joining all, this is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. With us today, we have Brother Steve Boley. Steve Boley is one of those brilliant young professional Liberians in the diaspora that continue to educate our people, inform our people, give the right information, and also advocate. It's very, 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 very crazy that our country is going through this. So, giving the information that we have this amount of people already infected. Maybe some people just joining us. Like we have about new cases going on right now. 10 new cases being added. And I'm on less than 91 and 10 new one. 88 of that in most of the county. This state of emergency was declared in most of the county. When it was declared, we said that this thing going to spread this whole sickness more. And now to find out that we do not have coronavirus testing machine in Liberia, we don't have, they are using the one for Ebola. Somebody told me this last week.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And now that we do not have that, and the government talk about attacking this when they declared the state of emergency, but never mentioned anything about buying those things.
Yes.
Spending money to buy ventilators, to buy a testing machine, how much it's costing, nothing like that. But they were, in fact, saying that they gave $4 million to LEC.
Right.
What does that say? I mean, does that show any seriousness from this government? Or are they just on a venture to just eat money? I mean, what is it?
So, Mr. Kane, let me say something here again. One of the volumes that it speaks of the government is, the truth about it is, your mind has got to be in the right place to be able to function well. It speaks volume of the government's willingness to continue on a path and a trajectory that will only benefit them and certain group of people. It speaks that they don't care. It speaks also that either they don't understand what they are doing, they don't want to seek help, or they really just don't know what they are doing, and they will continue to do this try and error thing. And you can't run people's life like that. You can't run government like that. You can run your home if you want to do try and error method. Even if you do that, you have problems in your home. But even your life, if you do that, you will have problems. But one of the things I think that can be done, like you said earlier on, what I was looking for and what I'm looking forward to is seeing how the budget and the money that is allocated now, based on the fact that they say the money will be used for the, all 15 counties. I want to see how it will be allocated to the healthcare sector, because this is a health pandemic. This is a health pandemic. Now, if this is a health pandemic, then we have to invest and prepare ourselves. One of the things is this, though, Mr. Cannon. You see, all those who are in, what are the doctors you call today? the doctors you called a few days ago that were on here, the two pharmacists that were on here,
Yeah.
even if you invite other doctors, people, whether they're medical practitioner or they're just researcher, there are certain things we are obligated to do and we must do. And that is, you must prioritize your patients or your clients. They must be first on your list, and you can't lie to them, you can't cheat them.
Yeah.
And this is why I go back to what I said. That Dr. Fala should be fired or he should resign. He disgraced his profession by lying to the public. Even if the president or other people in the government decides to lie to the public, his role should never be there. You see, people don't understand the different careers people pick. But when you pick a certain career, you are obligated. Let's take, for example, I will send you it, and some of these things we don't like to do it, but I will send you it for you to maybe publish it. These few days before you graduate or before you get done with your doctorate program, you have to take certain courses online, and you must pass them. Now, you don't take them through the school. You don't take them for the school. You take them for the state and the entire America and the entire world. They will certificate you when you are done. Those courses are there. In those courses, there are ethical values you have to adhere. That means you have to follow certain ethics. There are certain moral conducts also that you have no choice. Let's say, for example, one of the things you have to follow is this. I can't treat you, Mr. Kane, for $3, and I write the insurance and say the insurance, I treated Mr. Kane for $5. That is fraud. That is wrong. I could get in trouble. I could go to jail. I could lose my license. I could stop practicing. In Liberia, I understand people will say this system does not work that way. But Dr. Fala was trained in America, though. So the question now is, if he collides or he joins with the government to fraudulently lie to the Liberian people, that will create this huge stress and this huge problem that we have on our hands now. He is part of the problem, and the government has been part of the problem. So what I would say to the government is, Barack Obama said we can chew gum and walk at the same time. We can free our people and take care of the healthcare worker and prioritize the healthcare sectors in Liberia. It was so disgraceful for me to see a video of healthcare workers. The people are not only risking their life, but they are complaining that they're supposed to be paid $20 or $15 or $10. And you're telling them, saying you're paying them only for 12 weeks, for 12 days, when they've worked for a month. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
The people that are supposed to be fighting the thing that is happening now, you don't empower them to do their job, but you take the money and do different things with it. That tells you that people are not, this thing is not working, Mr. Kane, and this is why we need to dive into this for us to understand the psychic and the minds of the people who are leaving the country and all the chaos we are having. And I can predict to the Liberian people, even if George Weah spent 12 years, 24 years, the chaos will continue. It will not stop.
But assuming those that with the virus now,
Yes.
or those that have been confirmed that they have it, and they found out that in fact they were not tested with a machine that would determine that they are infected with coronavirus.
Yes.
But the government already declared that these people are positive.
Exactly.
They were not tested with coronavirus testing machine. They were tested by Ebola virus testing machine. And coronavirus and Ebola are two distinct viruses.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you process that? It's kind of hard. Why do you process that?
So one of the first thing I will urge them to do, how I process this, first of all, I process a bunch of crooks, and I will use the complete adjective so that I can make the people to understand what I say. I process a bunch of crooks, liars, and criminals who do not understand the nature of this thing that they think they're joking with. They think they can use it as this everyday scam. And this is the thing about most of us Liberians. We think that when we crook people, we are smart. We think that when we trick people, we are smart. No, that's not how it works. Especially in this case, that's not how it works. So what I would urge them to do is research international laws. Dr. Fala can be sued for that. Let me say it today. He can be sued for that. The Liberian government can be sued for that because you know what they did? They lied. And you see, these are things that we must come together to be able to hold each other accountable because
As a matter of fact, let me just bring you hold you right there.
Mhm.
Assuming that they lie to the Liberian people
Yes,
and those who they proclaim to have been tested positive
right.
without using the proper machine.
Mhm.
And this is the number, also the numbers that I just read to you, those are official number of the Liberian government
Right.
that has also been transmitted to the international community or the World Health Organization. And if these people found out that the testing were not done with proper machine, that in fact Ebola virus testing machine were used to determine that the number of cases being confirmed in Liberia.
Right.
Do you think that would make sense to them? And if at all that turns out to be okay, they lied to us, what would be the impact or the effect
Well,
on
that
the Liberian government?
in terms of criminology in itself, that's a criminal nature. That's criminal. Let me put it that way. That's criminal. That's fraudulent. That is a problem. You see, it's not about putting the number up or creating panic and chaos to attract foreign people. It's not about it. Or to get people to come to your aid. It's not about it. Just the fact that this thing is a pandemic alone, that means Liberia falls within that confine. In other words, Liberia is there too. Some kind of way Liberia will benefit. You don't need to go and lie. So let me say what might happen most likely. Because this is a pandemic, there could be an investigation launched after this. And I want to be on record for this. There could be an investigation launched after this, as per the numbers the government is putting out, how they got the numbers. Right now, you might not see investigations because you know what? People are focusing. The thing is affecting almost everywhere. So people are focusing on that. So teams have not been set up yet to do this. But most likely, there could be an investigation. But I would say to those people, please don't settle for $20, Mr. Connor. Please don't settle for $20 or $50 for
No,
anybody or $1 million.
something's going wrong. Something's going wrong now. It looks like the system is down. Hold on one second. I hope nobody messing with us. Hold on one second. Give me a few minutes.
Somebody that do.
Yeah, just give me a few minutes. Hi. It looks like it's good, but it looks like somebody is. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You see the number drop all the way?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like somebody trying to attack us, but we have defense system. Let me see. Hopefully this will continue. Well,
I think we should be good.
it looks like we're good now. We're good now. Well, it was bad for a second. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it here. It was bad. I think it's good now. So yeah. So you may continue.
So what I was saying is the Liberian people, those who were pronounced, I would say to them, don't settle for nobody lying to you. Keep the results that they gave you, the testing results and all of that, and look into it. Look into other means of double checking whether what it did was truth. Because let me say this, they created stress on your family. Don't allow nobody to bring back arrest to your house to fool you, to say, let that be so. This Liberian mindset of bizo, we got to leave it. We got to stay focused with the issues. And if people lie, we point them out. It's very important for us to do that. Psychologically, it's very, very important. And we'll talk about it as time goes by. But I think the initial step was wrong. And I think the government now has the resources and the money to some extent to be able to help empower the healthcare system or the healthcare workers. I would say in this time, can you imagine, like I was saying earlier on, this family member of mine, yesterday, they're offering some nurses who are in different states a week, they're offering 10,000 just to work from to go to New York and other places from what he was telling me. And that's good. So what I would have thought would be the government would provide some incentives so that healthcare workers and other people are motivated enough to want to be at the front line. And also those who are in charge for the Ministry of Health, they will do the right thing. They will do the right thing because they are obligated to do the right thing.
Okay. So we are still talking about psychological effect of all those things going on in Liberia. You know, many of our people are still going through some trauma, some level of trauma, as a result of the 14-year civil war up to now. And some people also still going through trauma created by Ebola. I know a family that we should live together. A lady lost her life with her 2 children, leaving the youngest one. That trauma is still there. Even I, who's talking to you right now, when I think about that lady, the relationship that we had, the friendship that we had, we should live together. The family relationship that we had, to see her gone that way because of Ebola, I can still think about it. Really, really touching if I think of it. So now, what could possibly be psychological impact on the Liberian people in post coronavirus, wherein in fact we have questionable treatment or questionable cases, they say that they did, to justify something. Because when this thing started, some people said that there's no real cases in Liberia, that the government was doing it just to make sure that they show that something's going on in Liberia so they can also benefit financially from World Health Organization, international community, and other international donors. But now that we are finding out that they don't have Ebola testing machine, or corona testing, they are using Ebola testing machine to do testing for corona. Who is lying? Is it the president lying to the people, or the health minister is lying, or the healthcare workers are lying? Who should we hold responsible as a country?
So, Mr. Kane, in a nutshell, and I would touch on trauma because I think our people need to understand which trauma they're faced with now and what would be the outcome. But just to answer your question in a nutshell, the entire government, including the president, lied. Let me tell you why. If I tell you a lie and you go and tell a lie, you lie as I lied. So there is no, how do I, and I've heard a couple of people try to make excuses and say they gave the president wrong information. Well, guess what? The president should have done a research to ensure that the information that was given him was the right information. And if he brought wrong information to the people, guess what? He owns it and he takes the responsibility of that. But the entire government, let's say the entire government lied. And because of the president who made a pronunciation openly in public, he lied. Just as the same way I said a few weeks ago that Professor Wilson Tape should be fired or should have been fired or he should have resigned, him being a professor, for lying to the Liberian people when the gas shortage came. I remember I said he should have resigned or he should have been fired because you know why? He lied. He lied to the Liberian people. He lied to the Liberian people as the person who gave him the information, whether that his deputy, whether that his secretary, it doesn't matter. He lied. But let me touch on trauma because it's important for us to understand this. After the Civil War, first of all, I want to say to the Liberian people that there are 3 different main types of trauma, and people will experience this in Liberia. People have experienced this throughout, and we have work to do in Liberia. Let me tell you the truth today. We have work to do. The 3 different types of trauma are acute trauma. Now, what acute trauma means is something that you didn't expect to happen and it happened. that can lead to a trauma. So let's take, for example, a girl is with this guy and the guy say they been together, everything been fine. She didn't expect the guy to leave her. The guy just leave her. That's acute. It wasn't planned. Or somebody driving and just get into an accident. It was not planned, nothing. It just hit them. That could be acute trauma. Another trauma is chronic trauma. Now, what chronic trauma is this? It means the thing repeats. So let's take, for example, a guy leaves a girl today. She gets into another relationship. The same thing happened to her, or similar thing happened to her again. She goes get married. Similar thing happened to her. Those are chronic. It's building up. It's repeating. And sometimes the definition for it is it prolongs. That means it takes longer time. But the last step of trauma, I think we Liberians, especially those in Liberia who grew up in Liberia in the Civil War and everything, are experiencing and will experience post this will be something we call the complex trauma. Now, let me tell you about the complex trauma. Complex trauma is you've been exposed to different type of trauma. So let's take, for example, Corona King, Ebola King, you survive. The war king, you survive. They kill your people in the war, you survive. You got raped or you got violated, you survive. Or you even growing up, guess what happened? Somebody touched you or they molested you. You still surviving and you're still moving on. Those are chronic trauma. And let me say the danger. Now, when people are faced with chronic trauma, what happens to them is they only live in the moment now. Any small thing can make them, can get them happy. They can get mesmerized. In other words, they can get happy. So let's say, for example, if I come today and I went somewhere and I see a girl, God forbid, and I slap the girl, she's been experiencing acute trauma or chronic trauma. Now she's in a complex trauma. One of the things she will say to me is, well, I slap her today, then tomorrow I bring one bag of rice, I give it to her. Guess what she will do? She will see me as somebody who liberated her, who freed her. That's what she will see me as. But let me take it another way. On the other end, she will say to me, but the time on the other side, people used to slap me. Why are you not slapping me? So the reality is altered. It's changed. In the mind, that small thing can settle them. So let's say, for example, somebody come and steal your money and go and buy one share for you. You celebrate the person. You are happy that they bought you one share. You see that person as somebody who saved you. But in a normal mindset, psychologically, people don't behave like that though. People don't act like that. But you see, it had to have taken different levels of trauma for you to get to that point, to settle to that point. So you will see that as Liberia is now, Liberia is celebrating people who create more harm to them than people who come to free them. So they don't know what is good anymore. But they like good, but they don't know what is good.
So those are something like that is created by, or that are created by the level of trauma in us.
Yes, people are not born with it, and I want to clarify that part. People might think that people are born with it. No. You can be born with a disorder, or you can be born with a disorder. So let's take for example, some children are born with certain disorder. That's different from trauma inflicted. So let's say, for example, if a woman was pregnant and she was traveling and she got into an accident and the baby got affected, that is a different level. The baby is born with that trauma or that defect. But inflicted trauma, which is people rape people, people violate people, people beat people, people steal from people, guess what happened? Those are not natural things. I can't come here and say, so the combination of all of that, you know how we call it? We call it PTSD. So people think this PTSD thing is just restricted to military people. No, that's not true. That is not true. PTSD is because the post-traumatic stress syndrome. So PTSD is different, or disorder. PTSD is different. So we have to be very, very careful how we see these things. And so that's why when I see, let's say for example, let me give you a typical example, and maybe we can move on from the trauma aspect. You can ask me more questions about it. But you know why grown-up men, Seku, let's say you're 40 years old, for another 40 years old man to press you, for another 40 years old man to put backpack on your back and sing behind you, even if you're not educated, for another 40-year-old man to do that, that 40-year-old man will not be acting in the norm, in the regular mindset of a 40 years old. Because, I taught this few semesters ago, but I took a break from teaching in psychology. I taught there are 8 stages of development. There are 8 stages of development. All human beings go through the 8 stages of development. All of us, I don't care who you are, I don't care where you were born, you go through those 8 stages of development. And when you go through those 8 stages of development, you are bound to have these experiences in life. So one of it is when you are a child, let's take for example the very stage of growth and development. The very first stage is the stage of trust versus mistrust. That means if you take a baby from Liberia right now, and you take a baby from America, and you take a baby from China, and you brought that baby to me, and I put those 3 babies down, and I treat all 3 of them good. When those babies turn from 1 year old to 3 years old, they will trust me to some extent. But if I treated a baby from Liberia bad, and I treated a baby from China good, and I treated a baby from America good, the 2 babies from China and America will like me. The baby from Liberia will not trust me. It's a natural thing. That's how we are made. And there are different stages and there are different levels of it in these 8 stages. All I'm trying to say to the Liberian people is this.
Can you if you don't mind, can you educate about going through those stages if possible, so that you can learn from it?
Okay, so let's talk about the 8 stages. Let's get into the 8 stages really quick. So the 8 stages, the first stage is for infants. Infants mean childhood. That means it starts from between 1 year to about 2 years. Let's give it that range. There's trust versus mistrust. So that means there's certain things you can do to the child. There's certain things you can do to the child will not trust you. That's why when you take a baby to somewhere strange that they don't know, they react differently. When you take a baby to a stranger, the baby reacts differently to that stranger because trust versus mistrust, it becomes a natural thing to them. That's how they build up their trust. Another stage again is the toddler stage. The toddler stage means they're between the ages of, let's say, 2, 3, between there. Okay, in that stage, what happens is the children, they develop something called shame and self-doubt. Now, in shame and self-doubt, what a child is doing is the child is looking for a way to be able to say, I can go to the bathroom now and I will have my nakedness. In that stage, also, the child is finding themselves. That there are certain things when you start telling them. So let's say, for example, when women start telling the children, you'll be useless, and the child between the 4 and 5, you can't be doing that. You can't be saying that. You can't be saying that. Trust versus, and you see, that's one of the difference between we and the people in the Western world, in America, or the white people. Let me tell you what they do. Because they understand that at that stage, they start to teach their children and nurture them and show them love, that they love them. How many Liberian people can tell them, how many Liberian parent or how many Liberian person can tell their child, say, I love you? But in that stage, you see the mother and the father start telling the children, I love you. They start making them understand that they are important. They start inserting so that they can doubt themselves. So that they can say, oh, I will not be nothing, I'll be useless, or I will be farmer, or I'll be this. No. They start making them know that they are important. They start reading books to them. Some of you, when you carry your children to the pediatrics, you know what the pediatric doctor will tell you, say, at this age, start reading books to your child, start doing this, start doing that. Even I will recommend today, when you have a child between the age 0, let's say 1 day old to 5 year old, start reading books to them. When you have a child between that age, one of the things you can do for them too as well, start asking them when they can talk, start asking them what you want to become. Start showing them their favorite character. Start showing them things, what they want to become, so that they can start building that self-confidence. Another thing again, the other stage again that we talk about is the third stage. That one is called the guilt and initiative stage. In that stage now, that preschool. Let me tell you what can happen in that stage. And that's what happened to most of our Liberian women. Most of our Liberian women, our men, most of it happened to them. In that stage, people in the family touched them. They molested them, Mr. Kane. Some of the men, they touched them and they molested them. In that stage, what you are doing is you have seen initiative and guilt. So let's take, for example, if somebody is between the age of 5 to 7 and some kind of man touched them or some kind of woman touched them or did something to them, that thing remain in the head. It remain there forever. It is there. They might not know the details, but they know it is there. So they go with that guilt. They go with that guilt for their life. So they carry it with them and they move on. At that stage, that's where people get confused. I will say something here, and this is a disclaimer. I will say something here. That's where people get confused and they say some children are born homosexual. No, that's where they get confused. To say, oh, the other child, they're born gay or they're born like this. Let me tell you why. Because they mess up in that stage. Guess what they do? They go back to the first stage, which is trust versus mistrust. You know what they do? They start to create resentment for that sex that touch them. So if men touch them, they start to create resentment for men. They start to go against men. And you see it? They start to develop trust with women instead of men. So vice versa. And most of the times it happens at that very, 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 very early stage. And sometimes we don't see it, we don't pay attention to it. So guess what happened? Now today, when you start talking, when a small child, or let me say in our library, where a small child said to the man, my uncle came here, even in America, it's happening now. When the child said, my uncle touched me or my uncle did this, you know what I can tell the child? You better shut up, don't put the man in trouble. Because they are victims. They're victims. But the way they dealt with it, they shut up. They didn't talk about it. They didn't process it. So they think it's a norm. They think it is okay for that to happen. They think that that child will get over it. They don't understand that psychologically, that child is not okay. They need to be processed. They need to seek counseling. Another thing is inferior and industrial. That's the fourth one. Inferior and industrial means the children now start comparing themselves with a friend, and now when they go to school, they see the other person, they say, okay, the person here will not on. They start choosing their friends. They start picking among their colleagues. So pretty much they start understanding things now. They start to understand things. So at that point now, guess what happened? They start to develop. They start to develop. So they will start choosing what kind of group to go to, what kind of group to not go to. They start to pick. Sometimes they will be confused. Sometimes they will be confused. It is normal for them to be confused at times. That's where the parents come in to set standards, rules, and regulations that they will follow. The fifth step quickly is identity and confusion. Now, when they reach to the identity and confusion age now, they start having identity crisis. Now, in the identity crisis, that's why normally we recommend to parents. Normally we recommend to parents, in this stage, you got to be very, very careful about who your children associate with, what they do, where they go, things they see, things they watch, and choices they make. So let's say, for example, if I see my child hanging out with somebody that can smoke, most likely I want to tell my child to not hang out with a person, because you know what? They will start picking up identities and things. The things, they will start being influenced by peers and other things. Then the next place now you come to is the next, I think at the fifth one I talk about, in the adolescent stage now, very dangerous. That's when girls start trying to experiment because their friend has no life. Let me say it in a Labrador way. Because their friend has no life, so they want to know life too. They want to get into life because their friends started talking about sexual activities, or they started talking about, well, they started sending naked pictures to other people. So guess what? They said they won't try it too. Everybody think they must get boyfriend, so everybody start getting into it. They start forming themselves in clique. That's when the girls and the boys start hiding their phone from their mind and part. They start going in the room, they will lock themselves up and be talking on the phone for long hours. They start doing all kinds of different things. That is stage there. Another stage again, which is the sixth stage, is the intimacy and isolation. In the stage now, people between 24 years old going up to 40 years old at that point now, people start making decisions and they're young adults. The young adults start making decisions. In that stage too, they can make lots of mistakes. So what happened with all of the stages, and I'll just run through it really quick. The other stage now is the generative and the stagnation. So in other words, now in this stage now, you are grown, you are an adult, you got your family, you're doing things, you got a job. Maybe you stick with that job in that stage. The last stage now, which is the late adulthood now, which is now you now settle, you start going back with your life. But there is one thing that is common to all these stages, Mr. Cannon. Most time, what you pick up on the very onset of this stage will determine how your life will go, for the most part. So let's take, for example, if I grew up in the war, if I grew up, all I knew about was Bayama or all I knew about was
Amanda.
Amanda, or all I knew about
Amanda Awetu.
Yes, because let me tell you, and I wrote one day, I saw my brothers and sisters who support the CDC that Friday. I saw young people jumping around, and I wrote, I said, this is the next issue we'll be faced with in Liberia, the psychological issue. Because let's take, for example, and they started off during the wartime. Can you imagine? They sing songs that the people sing before they go and kill people, that they sing songs they are singing today. So you know what it does? If they sang that song to rape somebody, and that woman is sitting there and she hear that same song, you know what it does? It takes her back to the traumatic days. So these things are not normal things. So what they have done is we are recreating this trauma over and over. These young people, and that's why I was saying here today, I will advise the university students to not get involved with it, jumping around. And you want to say something, say what you want to say. Leave
Yeah.
all the extra talking, and they're not important. What is important is communicate a message and stay
But
focused.
but you didn't see the president himself when you had to speak and say Benya, Benya, Benya.
Yes. So they don't.
The president is saying, can we do Benya, Benya? You never seen that?
I've seen it, and sometimes, to be very, very frank with you, I don't blame the
So
people.
so will you let your president you let your child to be behaving like that, like the way Joey can behave?
Well, sometimes let me say this. Let me be honest here. Sometimes what I would say is you can't blame them because the culture have allowed it. But I want to say to the Liberian people, this is not a spiritual thing. I wrote on my Facebook page before. There is no cue for stupidity, and that's truth. You have to get to reality. This is not a spiritual thing. This is a thing that we can't overlook. We must bring our people to sanity. Mr. Kane, everything we are discussing, what are the politics, what are the coronavirus? Let me tell you this today. If this thing is not right, this country is going nowhere. You gave up plenty of money, we're going to use it and come out and beg again because of the mindset. This thing is not right. Majority of our people, this thing is not right. Look at the young generation, what's going on with them. All they know is to jump around and celebrate people. That's all they know. All they know is to look for heroes.
So do we finish? I mean, are you finished with the 8 stages now? Everything, or
Yes.
one more?
No, I did the 8 stages.
Okay.
Unless you want to.
Okay, no, that's okay. So, folks, if you're just joining us, this is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. With us today is Mr. Steve Bole, a psychologist. We are discussing Liberia holistically, but we are concentrating on psychological impact of this coronavirus, and especially when you have a pandemic like coronavirus, and we have unprepared government, we have leaders that lie to their people, and we have experience of Ebola, 14 years civil war. If you put all of these things together, the psychological impact we have on our people. Think about this for an example. Let's bring politics in a little bit for a second.
Okay.
Majority of the people who are calling for war and economic crimes court in Liberia, they have been looked at by some Liberians, majority of whom voted for warlords. They are looking at those people as bad people. You see it? Even though Liberian people, they were the victim. They lost their parents, some lost their fathers, mother, grandmother. Some of them, they were very, very small. But when they are told, these are the people that kill your mom and your father, these are the people that kill your brother, they need to be prosecuted. They say, no, man. These are our senators. These are our representatives. So these men are our liberator. We were told that they are our liberator because they grew up with that mindset. Like, for example, people like Prince Johnson are liberator. The godfather of Nimba County. Okay, Prince Johnson is being celebrated in Liberia. Okay, so that means the trauma that was created by the Civil War is still impacting our people up to this point.
Yes.
That's why that's why they keep voting for people then that that kill their mother, their father. Even the people when they sing the song to say you kill my mom, you kill my papa, I will vote for you. Many people believe that because Liberia and Liberians went through that war, they feel that we have not really get into our right mental state. So many people didn't really take little. So do you think that same thing is possible if this whole coronavirus thing is not handled carefully? It will also have some psychological trauma on people after when everything's over.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Kane, let me say this: that it will get worse. Remember, I said there are three three major types of trauma: the acute, the chronic, and the complex. This is adding to the trauma already existing. So let me demonstrate a little bit how this is adding up. You see, when people choose to elect people that oppress them and say, "Oh no, we can't do war crime code, we can't do this." Okay, one of the things, remember I told you before, I said one of the reasons people don't know, and let me say here that I had to change my name on Facebook from the beginning to Moses, right? Let me say it for the record. And we talk about it behind closed doors. When people commit crimes, one of the first things we recommend from a psychological standpoint is to separate the victim from the perpetrator, who they can be to the same place at the same time. It can't happen. That's why, let me make it the easiest way for everybody to understand. When there is a domestic violence situation, when a man beat you in a house, let me say it that way. When the police come, who they can carry? They can carry the man. The reason they can carry the man is not only because they want to go and find out exactly what happened or to punish him for what he did, but they know because in the police, part of their training too, they're trained psychologically to understand that, hey, if this person stay here, this person will not tell you the truth because they are afraid. Let me tell you why they will help Prince Johnson and all the people there. That fear. That fear.
What is the fear?
Fear is the cause.
What
So
is
let
the
me tell
fear?
you what the fear is. So fear is demonstrated in different ways. So let's look at fear in itself. Though. Let's look at fear in itself. Fear is one of our natural responses. How we can respond as human beings. Fear is part of our natural responses. So one of the first ways you can respond to things as a human being is fear. Fear can kick in. Fear has the ability to pump in your adrenaline. It has the ability to pump in your adrenaline. That means it makes you ready to take actions or to do things. So let's take, for example, if you enter into a fearful thing or fearful place, one of the things you have the ability to do is you got to be alert. So fear will wake you up. Fear will put you in that mood where you either defend yourself or you run. So let me tell you how this fear is acting to the Liberian people. They are afraid that if they don't vote Prince Johnson might go back to the bush. They don't understand that we can't go back to the bush again because times have changed. They don't have that power yet to understand. Let me tell you what will make them to understand. They have to go through trauma and therapy. They have to go through traumatic therapy. For us, let me say, one of the things in therapy is this. Therapy does not know magic, my people. When people go see counselors and other people that don't know magic, what the counselor tell them is, if you used to be afraid of that person, don't be afraid of that person. That's what we'll tell you. And we'll tell you why you shouldn't be afraid of that person. So let me tell you one of the most recent way fear this government is, you say you want us to put politics into a little bit. This government has used fear to be one of the greatest tactics. Let me tell you one of the most recent ways. You see the government allowing the military to come out. You see the government allowing the military to come out. It was strategic. It was strategic. It was very strategic. And from the day I saw that pronouncement and I saw the military in there, what it spoke to me is for them to give a flashback in the picture to the people. Why when the military came out, they didn't just come out? Why did they come out with BB guns? Why? Psychologically, what they are telling the people, they are speaking to their mind that, hey, look how to follow the rules that we're telling you. If you don't follow the rule, you will most likely go back to war. Let me tell you how they want Tilia Ure. I said this before on your show. I said that the government were going to lie, trick the people, but the last thing they will revert to is fear.
Yeah.
They will put fear in the people. And that's exactly what they did to Tilia Ure during the election time. They put fear in the people as their strategy. And I will say this, until this government changes, there are three different things this government will do. And I'm able to predict everything that they will do from the start to the end. This government will not stop the behavior of criminality and instilling fear in the people because they know that is the last resort. Until we can pass fear, we'll still be subject to the people that did us wrong. Until we can pass fear, you must graduate from fear.
Okay. So so if I may ask, do you have time for us to take calls
Yes.
from people so people can have the opportunity to ask questions?
Yes, please. Let's get into it.
Okay. So folks, I'm going to be taking calls now. You have the number right there on the screen. All you need to do is to call the number and ask your question for Brother Steve Boley. So you are welcome to call. The 480 number, 401-2081. That's the direct number you can call. Or you can call on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number, if you call it directly, you're not going to get through. You got to use the WhatsApp to call it, whether you are calling local or you are calling international. Just use WhatsApp to call that number, 202-871-6800. The number is right there on the screen. So keep your call coming in. 81. Okay, somebody calling already on the WhatsApp line. All right, I think this is a call from Liberia. Hello, caller, your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Sekou Kane. The name remains Sidiki Musa Musukula Dole. I'm joining you from Liberia.
Sidiki Musa Musukula Dole. Welcome, Sidiki Musa Musukula Dole. What is your question for Brother Steve today?
Well, yeah, thank you very much. The first thing here, I must be able to commend my brother Steve because he has spoken well as I speak always on your platform. I really admire his deliberation because he is a young man like my very self. All what he has been saying, I have been very cognizant about it, and I'm very much delighted that he's a young man. He has come to the platform sincerity. But now, Mr. Steve, you have spoken well. But one thing I want you to make it clear to us as a young people, because like you said, the young people, one, our mind have not been directed the right way in my government. It means we will still be hailing heroes around here, and that is just truth. But for me, that's speaking to you, I represent the disadvantaged youth Liberia. You have been following almost all of this government activity. Can you point out one or two things that the government have done for the young people or will do for the young people? Or if they aren't doing for us, why are they not doing for us as a disadvantaged youth? Because I want to make a short reference. The reference is since the session of this government, there have been 2 times of budgetary allotment annually, but there have been nothing mentioned there for the disadvantaged youth. Okay, we are going through a quarantine period. The president just sent another package to the House of Parliament. If you look into that package, only 2 things now is there important. I mean, that are there important. One, the current, and 2, the food that are going to be supplying people. What's about our brother like me, the disadvantaged youth? We have been lumping in the street. We don't have nowhere to go. So why is the leadership or the government not talking something about us? Thank you all so much. I rest my case.
Wow, thank you very much. That was very important. Okay, let's take another caller. Caller, your name and where you calling from? 401 number.
Yeah, how you doing, caller? My name is Ojiku Ntagi. I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much for the show today. At least, to let you know that I'm one of your fans. I usually follow your show, but your show always my joy time. Okay. But fortunately for me today, I get a little time that I can call, but I'm your friend, and thank you very much for all the good things you are doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay. You see, I just want to give myself, I'm a student of psychology, and what the brother I just said, who I enjoying so much, brother. Thank you for all your education and everything, and thank you for your knowledge to us.
Hold on. Call on WhatsApp line, hold the line, okay? Let me just say something. Anybody, when you call, and I just open your line, I don't talk, it doesn't mean that you are not on. So just listen until I can call your name. Because so I can't be interrupting, the speaker. Somebody already talking. All right? Once you call, I will be open your line. It means that you are on. Until I call your name, then you will begin to speak. Yeah, my brother, may continue.
Yeah, so as I was saying, my little sister just graduated from Smart Institute, a medical nursing institute in Liberia, and now she also tried to get a job, and she got a job. And then I was kind of like happy that, thank God, I lead the stress with me now. She in the medical field comparing with that thing here, But to my surprise, she's been working for almost 3 years now. They have not paid her. And every day to pay her wage, she has to call me here for transportation. And then she goes to work every day. So I said, well, I don't understand. He said, brother, they will put on payroll, but we're not on payroll yet. They will put on payroll, and we're not on payroll yet. Or the few they handle some ambulance units came, and there were a few couple of nurses that they hired them to be on that ambulance. And then they said they supposed to giving them $59 for 30 days. $59 for 30 days. So how do you expect for this kind of person to go adequately, consciously, psychologically to go to work and perform their duty? But they don't even have money, but they don't even have food, and she has to go every day to come and pick her up. But the best thing they're doing now is saying, I'm gonna go and pick her there and carry her to work.
Make the question short so they make him be struggling together.
Okay, so my question has to do with what do you think you can tell the government to do for our nurses that are coming from school to motivate them and motivate the young children to join the FFC? What do you think they can do, at least in terms of the salary? I know that roughly about civil ceremony are not even paid those nurses, and you wonder, they are not even put them on payroll. What do you think you can do to stable their mind to go to work and help our people? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's do the third one, and then you will answer those before we take another call. Caller on the WhatsApp line, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, what is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abu Masala, I'm calling from Germany.
Abu Masala calling from Germany. Welcome, Abu.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I want to ask the brother in the studio there, what do you think is the cause? For example, on Labrador today, we have our youth. For example, in district number 15, we're witnessing that the representative there, Abu Kamara, was indicted for a criminal record. And still, people were hailing him, even voting for him. And the only thing he could do for these people was giving them a cup of rice, maybe oil, and you have to get in a vote. So, I'm so confused to see the generation of Labrador still continuing the same track from the past. That is one. Two, he said government give 4 million to LAC. And how many most of our people have electricity? And the electricity in most of our maybe 10 or 15%. Okay, only 10 or 15%, all the people that have electricity, they recharge. So how is LAC going to determine to know that the other person is going to have free electricity or not? Because if your electricity finish, definitely you have to buy a car and put it in your meter before you have current, or else you will not have it. So where is the 4 million going? This is my question.
All right, thank you. All right, you can answer those three if you want.
Yeah, let me do the three, then we'll do.
Yeah, answer those three before we can take more, right? You want to do that?
Yes, please.
All right, go ahead.
Well, the first question for the brother from Liberia was he wanted to know what can the government do to empower the disadvantaged youth. I think that there are two components of this. We have to understand that system must be put in place. That's one of the very first important components, because system will hold people accountable and so forth. But I think what the government can do to help the disadvantaged youth is the government must ensure money is allocated. Or let me not use all the different PB terms. I don't want to do that. Money is given for the disadvantaged youth, and that money must not be only in food for them to eat. We must start empowering our young people by teaching them and training them. What do I mean? For example, don't sleep with a girl because you pay her school fees. Don't do that. Don't do it. To the government officials, don't do it. That's wrong. What you are doing psychologically, you are messing with the mind. And to the young people too, don't do it. Don't stop sleeping with other people too. I know they will say, oh, well, they high here school, but they high, they want high. You too, you have a responsibility as a young person. You must start to set standards. That's two-way street. They're not one way. So if you think psychologically we just come and just fix everything, no. We must play our part. The government play their part too. The government must. One of the things the government will have to do is to make these things affordable, so that they can lessen the pressure. So I think in that context, the government should empower the young people by prioritizing their education, especially the young ones now, the ones in the street who are selling. I was in Monrovia, I was in Liberia 2018, I see the young people, young children, they're not going to school. Everybody is selling because the place is hard. So we got to prioritize education. So the healthcare and the educational sector must be a priority as well. But another question the other brother asked was, how He was speaking about asking questions about the government paying healthcare workers. Let me say this. One of the strategies the government can use to not only empower people to come to the healthcare is they must either make healthcare affordable at the same time while paying them very good so that they can do their job. They must do those two things. They can do them together. So let's take, for example, all those healthcare places that teach all those, whether they're private or public university, the government can provide money and say, hey, you know what happened? Let's do this. Let's give this money for this money is only for nursing students. Let's take, for example, in the country, there are some schools that you go to school, nursing, so long you make yourself available and you can do it, they will pay for your tuition. Hospitals should also engage into that too, to create that corridor. And that's why that we're speaking about the government, but the hospitals too should be able to create that corridor. Let me say this. Let me say another thing again. The hospitals should also start increasing the healthcare workers' pay. And they should make that by pressuring the government, by pressuring the lawmaker to prioritize the healthcare sector. It can't be just one group of people. It got to be across the board, the healthcare sector. So let's take, for example, I'm hearing doctors, we're making this on Ellen, they're making this on Joel. That should not even be this, making that. The government should be able to establish a budget for them so that they can do this and they can do that. Another question that was asked by our last brother was about the electricity business. Well, let me come to this thing though. Let me come to this part. You see, the government has been unfair. And this is my serious problem with this government. You see, we can't continue with the same mentality or the same behavior and think that things will change. Things will not change. Let me say this. Countries don't change because they fast and pray. People don't change because they fast and pray. People change because not only that they fast and pray, but they put into place measure of accountability. So I would say the government should stop lying. The government paid this the government paid this money, the 4 million, long time ago, and a few days ago. So that was a lie. Long time ago they paid, and a few days ago. So that was a lie. But let's look into this. If they're going to pay for electricity, then I would say to the government too, then people shouldn't be paying for the meters that they because I was there, I know how it works. You pay for the meter, you go, you recharge or whatever it is. Sometimes I used to recharge $50 or whatever it is. Yes, I know how it runs. So what I would say to the government is they need to ensure that they do the right thing. Look, doing the right thing is easier than doing the wrong thing and trying to cover up. It's too hard. So, Mr. Kane, I think we can get time for more. But I saw a question on here that I want to address on the Facebook live feed. Mm-hmm. I think that question was important. When Emmanuel Jesse, he asked a question about poverty, if poverty can proliferate all these psychological issues. I will agree with Emmanuel that we have to cut down, decrease the poverty level. We have to. Let me say this. I can sit here and provide all of the advices, all of the analysis, or whatever it is. But the truth of the matter is, in Liberia, we have a common saying: the person that controls your stomach can control your head. But let me say to the Liberian people today, that's not true. The things have changed. They're not controlling people's stomach anymore. They're controlling people's head in order to control your stomach. It has changed. They're controlling your head in order to control your stomach. So that means, in other words, let me get a typical example. The most recent one.
Do we still have some time for more questions? You already answered 3 questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's take callers. We have a lot of people calling. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
This is Donzo calling from Netherlands.
Donzo calling from Netherlands. Donzo, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kerry.
What is your question for Brother Steve Boley?
No, I don't have no question, for Mr. Steve Boley. I guess he's just a young guy. Just to congratulate him because I have been listening to him for a while. We are the same, for the media, and work together, and I have been listening to him. And the first thing was Moses. He's a young guy, brilliant guy. Just every time. I just admire him because everything he say on this platform, everything is true. And Mr. Kenneth, like I told you the last time when we talk about the coronavirus issue in Liberia, I told you in the beginning that I don't even trust that if they have any kind of coronavirus in Liberia. I don't trust it. The government will come up, this government will continue to lie. This government will continue to traumatize the Liberian people because the Liberian people already have been traumatized before. We are already been traumatized. We have passed through so many things. The system is going on. Mr. We are government, they know they will, if it does traumatize the Liberian people, so their goal cannot go far. Everything about the coronavirus issue in Liberia, Mr. Kenneth, is not right.
So yeah, but I will agree that the government is not doing enough to take care of the problem. I will also agree that the government does not have the necessary equipment. But to say the coronavirus thing is not true, me, I disagree with that. I think it's 100% true because people, the sickness is there, but they are not doing the right thing in order to stop it. Yeah, but you need to shut down that stream that making the noise behind you. It's disturbing the show.
Oh, yes. The idea is, Mr. Kenneth, you cannot test coronavirus or Ebola.
Yeah.
The government don't have nothing to control anybody in Liberia. If you get a heart problem now, they will say it's coronavirus. If anybody got diabetes, they will say it's coronavirus. All the nurses that are being infected, that are telling all the nurses that are being infected, that the nurses just come on live. I feel like this could not try to food. We are living in a muddy water. That's one of the nurses come or let us show to the Liberian people. This is the patient of the coronavirus. Let us show just one patient in any hospital. Then I will believe everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I got you. I got your point. Thank you very much. All right. Let's take another caller. Hey, caller on the phone line, hold the line, please. Caller on the WhatsApp line. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, is that Sekou?
Yeah, this is live. This is SKTV. Go ahead. What is your name?
Yeah, calling Patrick, calling from Australia.
Patrick calling from Australia. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I've been following the media, and I just want to say thank you to Dr. Bole for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
You've been analyzing the whole process from the beginning, and I think one of the things that Dr. Bole just mentioned is ethical issue in Liberia. When you start to create lies to your people, it becomes very, very traumatic in the itself. We see government officials that came through the international airport and they were given priority to go home. Then you found people like Alexander Kumi were taken to quarantine section. That's the first instance wherein the creator, the trauma in the minds of the people. Now we don't have a system put in place for the medical team to be able to carry on this thing. So whatever Dr. Bole had mentioned this morning, I would rather agree with him 100% because this is what you, Sekou, and others that are dealing with various media platforms have been saying in the past. Our government is not telling the truth to the people.
So you don't have a question?
The question I have is under the prevailing situation, Dr. Bole, what advice can you give the nurses that are on the front line to be able to have a sense of mind to continue the job that they are doing? What can they do in these circumstances?
Thank you. All right. Caller on the phone line. What is your name and where are you calling from? 202.
Brother Sekou, my name is Josephus. We are calling from Pennsylvania.
Joseph, welcome.
I just want to say a great thanks to Brother Steve Bode. I really wanted to ask him a question on like every stuff that he read. More concerned about the 8 stages, what they have to do with integrity versus That's right. So I wanted to know if the government really going to like reveal.
Oh, we're not hearing you anymore.
Yeah, I wanted to know if people they can really predict, because like I really concerned about the 8 stages right now. If the government can really like if he can really predict if the government going to reveal whatever they did in the past. Maybe that was bad for the Liberian people, and they can review those stuff and to come back to their senses and do the right thing. If the government is going to do that based on the 8 stages, whatever you read.
All right, thank you.
My main concern is on the 8 stages.
Thank you. All right. We only got 2 questions, right? For now.
Yes.
Okay, let's take one more. Yeah, somebody was just calling, but I'm trying to click over it, but it went off. Yeah, somebody was calling from Texas, but then you can go ahead and start answering those 2 questions since.
So the first question was, how can the nurses be encouraged to do their jobs pretty much in this pandemic? I think one of the things that we need to do is I will urge the government to provide them with the necessary resources. First of all, that includes whether that a mask or anything to protect them, because we need them. And another thing I would encourage the nurses to do is, in as much that we want to care for other people, it is important that we take care of ourselves. And I will also urge the healthcare workers and the government to not lie to the healthcare workers, those who are in authority. Let them say the truth to them so that they can protect themselves too. Because, mind you, these healthcare workers too are family people.
Caller, hold the line. They may still talking, so just hold the line. Yeah.
These healthcare workers are family people, and so I think it is a good thing to make that sacrifice, and I want to encourage the nurses that not to make a sacrifice to go and put yourself in harm's way, but I want to encourage the nurses that this is what we sign up for. This is what we sign up for, and I think it is a good thing for us to do. This is why I always encourage people, when you choose a profession, choose it because it's a passion, not because it's about money or it's about what you would gain from there or popularity or this one or that one. No. Choose your passion and make your passion your profession. You would do it because it is the right thing to do. So I want to encourage the nurses, but I'll also say this to the government: please pay the nurses, pay the healthcare workers, pay them good, take care of them. Please, this is a give and take thing. Take care of these people so that they can do their job too as well. The last question, what he was asking about, how can the trust be regained? Unfortunately, I want to be on record here. Unfortunately, it will be very hard. And I don't see it that this government will regain the trust of the Liberian people. Let me say why, in a very simple nutshell. Remember the very first stage of growth and development, trust versus mistrust? Mm-hmm. Now, when you scare a child, it is not the child parent responsibility to make that child to come to you when they see you. It is your responsibility to restore that relationship. And what you can do to regain that child's trust is to make that child to understand that you are not who they say you were. But this is what the government is doing though. They want to regain the Liberian people's trust, but they are using more lies and tricks and criminal behaviors to do that. And it doesn't work that way. I want to say here point blank, it doesn't work that way. Lying, people singing praise and worship for you, jumping around, it doesn't work that way. All I will say to the government, which I know they will not do, please be transparent and be accountable. It will help. But at this point, I don't think this government has it in them to do the right thing. So I want to say here, until I can see it for the next 1 year, because you see, behavior has to be consistent. You have to see consistency in your behavior. This government has never demonstrated any consistency in their behavior apart from being crooks, criminals, and liars. When you say, they say, well, you won't work with the government, but why are you calling them names? Well, I will call it as it is. I'm not here to say, I'm saying the government, let's not say the president lie. If the president lie, I will say the president lie. I will not say the president embezzled. I will not do that. I will call it as it is. So if the government does the right thing, I will say they did the right thing too. That's just what it is.
Thank you. So, caller on the WhatsApp line, 346 number. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
Oh, the sound is bad. Hold on one second. Caller, hold the line. Yeah, your sound is bad. Caller on the WhatsApp line. You need to adjust your position. Caller on the phone line 443. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What is your name and where you calling from?
Okay, this is John Mawolo calling from Maryland.
John Mawolo from Maryland. Go ahead.
Yeah. What Steve is saying is something I've been saying for a while now. I have always been saying, when you look at the rate of progression of the corona in the West, and for them to say they only had, I think, four people for so long in Liberia, I say there is no way that thing could be in Liberia yet. I am not certain that it's in Liberia yet, because all the countries that we see where this thing has attacked, the progression is too fast. For an underdeveloped, poor health facility country to say it's just, that low number. Besides, they don't even have proper testing.
Yeah.
So even when people start to die, they don't have the means to test. So there was no way I could believe that the thing is really in. What I saw, like he said, is the politics of looking for attention from the international community to give them money. But what I want to know is that something is happening with the Liberian population. This sense of nobodiness that they feel, that everybody can just trample on them. I mean, anything you do to them is okay. How do they get over that?
Thank you.
How do any government make them get over that? The other thing.
Yeah, Steve, hold on. Steve did not really grab that part of the question. Yeah. Steve, okay. Can you repeat it? Because I think I understood it very well. But you go ahead and repeat it, Mr. Mawolo.
I said this sense of nobodiness that the Liberian population feels. How do they get over that? What can any institution or government do to help them get over that? Where anybody just trample on them and it's okay. Anybody abuse them, it's okay. Anybody, just use them, it's okay. I found that unacceptable. I don't know for the life of me why they accept it. The second thing is, at what point will they feel empowered? Will they feel good enough about themselves to expect more in life?
Thank you.
Not only for them, but for their children. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. So going back now to the guy on the WhatsApp line, we were trying to get him on first, but the line was really bad. Caller on WhatsApp line, are you still there? Are you in a bathroom or something? They kind of lousy, so we can't grab the actual voice. Yeah, call back, please. I think I could tell. All right, see if you can go ahead and respond to those two questions.
So I think those two questions are very fundamental and they're very important for all of us and for the Liberian people who are listening, especially those in Liberia. The first thing that we must, the first thing that did not happen, Mr. Kane, and I didn't realize it up until I got into this whole mental health and psychological thing, was when they disarmed the people after the war, there was no proper rehabilitation done. There was no proper rehabilitation done. So one of the things we can do is to not only, and I want to say this here, maybe at some point,
call a hold the line.
We'll be invited back to talk about how drugs and alcohol and all these things play into this whole trauma issue. We'll talk about it, which is affecting the country now. But the one that we can do now as a people is we have to come to the point where we have national discussions about these things. So let's say, for example, there must be talk shows, radio shows, TV awareness about these things, about the importance of reporting things when they happen. So let's say, for example, if somebody is raped today, they should jump on it really quick and take some kind of action. Now, when you do that, what you do is you empower the people psychologically and mentally to say, oh, if I come out and speak out, something will be done. That's one way we can empower them. We have to not only educate our people, we have to create awareness. Punishment need to be established because behaviors must be rewarded or punished. That are the two ways you can handle behavior. There is no other way you can handle behavior. Any behavior that is exhibited, it must be rewarded or punished. So if somebody do bad thing, they must be punished for the bad behavior. That's what is recommended. So I think that's one of the way we can empower our people. We must educate our people. Those people who did wrong or who are doing wrong must be punished and they must be exposed. Another thing that we must do is we must expose. We must expose. One of the ways to empower people and to educate people is to expose things. So let's take, for example, don't say because I friended with Steve, when Steve do something wrong, I can't talk it. Please talk it. Come out and talk about it. Let's leave this culture of backing people or supporting this person because we love them. So we can't say the wrong that they do or they're in our clique. So please, let us not talk about it. When let's leave the wrong. Then let's just forget about it wrong. No, we can't do that. We must look because it's a holistic thing that we must do together as a people. So we must expose, we must educate, we must empower by providing punishment and direction. We must do that. And that's what I think one of our major problems stem from. They get the people money, the international community provided money, the different NGOs then just collected some people and just put them and disarm these people, and they didn't go through the rehabilitation process. There are some people who their trauma are very, very high. So what we need to do, we might have to isolate them to treat them from the general public and bring them back to the general public. Yes, but for the entire nation, the same way Rwanda did today, Rwanda did not only expose, they made it a national discussion. Let us talk about it. When your uncle tells you, let's talk about it. Don't say, oh, don't talk about it. Your uncle will get in trouble. No, let's talk about it. I think that would be good. Let's expose people.
So have you answered all the two questions now?
Yes, the two questions were answered in our context because
okay. All right, let's take this other last caller. Caller on the phone line. What is your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Sheikh Lucas is Devontae down there. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Devontae.
Can you both hear me?
Yeah. Steve responded. He said, hi, Devontae.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to call in and highlight something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective of all that's going on in our beautiful Liberia, it seems like the health professionals are getting their way through this pandemic. And for those of us who work on this side of the health care sector, and when I mean this side, I mean in the diaspora, all know that is you're dispositioning yourself for major losses, not only for yourself but for the agency or facility you work for. Also, you're doing harm to human life by getting your way through. And I say this to say there are medical professionals, Liberians, here in the U.S. and around the world, that like the Liberian government has benefited from seeking consultation from. One of them is my very own spouse, Dr. Olivia. Another is our anesthesiologist, Dr. Victor Yuka. And he made a live video the other day that I just wanted to bring a synopsis, and I thought this might be the perfect platform to say that. He said that what he observed is that Liberia and most African countries are going about this wrong. Those are ventilators they're trying to get into Liberia. Not only are they expensive, but you need the expertise. The person who knows how to use that machine. We don't have those people in Liberia. Moreover, when you put someone on ventilator, there's so many other drugs that they will need to keep them calm, to keep them in anesthetic state in order for you to go down someone's throat. We're looking at a more easier and cost-effective way to go is using CPAP machines. Because what they have found right here in the U.S., working with patients, is that the ventilators have long-term damage that it does to the patients that come in. Those who did not have breathing problems, there's long-term repercussion that's behind it. So right here in the U.S., they're moving from ventilators on people with just who are in the acute stage and using CPAP machines. So why are we not trying to reach out and get professionals who can help Liberia, who walk, who want nothing from the government, but simply help? It just baffles me. So I thought I'd use this medium to say that again. Reach out to Liberian professionals who are working right here in the field, who have, who can add quality to the healthcare and save lives as opposed to guessing their way through and make so many mistakes in the end. The psychological damages that we've done from guessing your way, that's medical malpractice. So guessing your way on a human's life is just, it baffles me. So I wanted to add that today. I know you guys are talking about the psychological center, but I wanted to add that to this conversation because I know a lot of people in different professionals in different levels in government listen to your show. Let them ponder upon this and start acting right. That was what I wanted to add.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So Mr. Bode, you can answer the question.
So I think, and the sister struck a very beautiful point that I think anybody that wants to do right by the people and maybe for the legacy or for the people, I think these are steps that you take. And let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. During the past government, Ellen government, people might say, oh, Ellen brought people from America and they squandered money and they did this. Let me say this. Let me say this to the Liberian people. There are good people, there are professionals, and there are crooks that are professionals as well. Same way with politicians. I want to say to this government, the help you need, it's not imuya muya. It's not people that are singing your praises. The help you need will come from those who are criticizing you. Don't be afraid to do the right thing. If this government will only sit and position themselves to do the right thing, they will do the right thing. Because you know what? I know lots of Liberians that are willing to help this government. I know lots of Liberians that are willing to come on the table for them to help this government, for them to help our people. But you know what happened? People say, oh, you can't volunteer, you can't do this, and people can come out to the government. Let me ask a question. All the other people that have volunteered to work with the government, have they accepted them? You see them shifting people who don't even know what they're doing into positions that they're not even qualified for to do what they're supposed to do, only because they want to have something. No, this thing is simple. If you care for the Liberian people, you will include all Liberians. You will call people who even are against you, who are not speaking, let them come and deliver. No, your critics, those who are speaking, like the sister said, let challenge. Let the government reach out to other medical professionals. For me, I will say this. The government do good things, I will support the government because of the government and our people. The government do bad things, I will call them out. Sekou Kane do bad things, I will call him out. I don't have no time to come and do all of that. No, I don't suck up. So I will say this. We must, my sister, the best thing this government can do, and you said it the right way, and I will remind the Liberian people again. Dr. Fala lied to the Liberian people. He must be held accountable for that. Accountability is very important in this process. Whether you lied yesterday, you lied today, you must be held accountable for it because you are public figure. So we need to be sure.
But what is the lie he told?
Well, Dr. Fala lied, first of all, was for coming out and pronouncing cases that are not true, number one. Dr. Fala had lied over numerous occasions on different issues and on different things. Another thing is the testing. He was the one that stated it. The video is on Bridge Radio, and the girl who asked him is one of the reporters from Bridge Radio. From that day, I confirmed his lies, and I know that he is not serious. That's medical malpractice. He must be held liable for it. He lied. He lied. I want him to provide the proof of the lab of where they did the testing and the form. The very first case was positive. Let them provide it. They started the whole thing by misleading the people. So that's why I go back to the 8 stages of growth of development. You don't start life with lying. You don't start things with lying. They started the whole process with lying. So guess what they are doing? They are covering their tracks with lies again. That's why you see them bringing in Mary Bro and bringing in what the other lady, Fina Bono, and all the people. What do they know about that? Jefferson Koji and all 10 now to be private director. Are you serious? What are we headed to? So, these are some of the things we keep saying, but they say we're playing politics. It's not politics. It's the truth. Let's be truthful.
Right. Okay. Okay, Steve. I want to say thank you to you, Steve. We will leave it here for today. We have a lot of calls still coming in, but we already passed our time limit. And we're still going to, the way we're enjoying the show, we're going to stay here. We're going to be here for another, 30 minutes, an hour. So we have to follow the time. So what will be your closing statement for today?
So my closing statement, I think that's something that I will really anticipate for talk about, but like you said, we'll have another time. But I want to close on this. You see, we must get serious. We're in the 21st century. We must get serious. We must. Seriously speaking, we must get serious. And I want to close on the opposition. Maybe another time we'll get the invite, we'll come up and we'll discuss this in more detail. But I want to close on the opposition. Let me say this. In any group formation, there are 5 stages. 5 different stages. In any group you will form, whether that pressure group, whether that political group, there are 5 stages. And one of the first stages is the forming. The second stage is the storming. And I just want to bring your attention to the storming part. The storming in any group is very important because that's the place people can have misunderstanding. The place people can have disagreements. That's where people can fight. That's where people can leave sometimes. But that's where people can also hold people accountable. I want to say to the CDC-led government in this light, what the CPP, the COP, and the opposition is going through now, I love it. I love it. And I pray it continues till we will out all the truth. Because any opposition is the next government in the waiting. I will be very, 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 very disappointed if we were to hold and act as though everything is okay while we are behind the stage and you get on stage, we start having funny problems, then we're not ready to move the Liberian people forward. The only thing I would say in this misunderstanding within the opposition or whatever you might call it, conflict or people taking side, however you want to term it as, let us be sincere. Let us be transparent. Let us be accountable to one another, and let us do it respectfully. If I disagree with Sekou, I come here and say I disagree with Sekou. Sekou, I disagree with you because of this, because of that. Let us do it respectfully. And let us, above everything, be alert. Let us be oriented to the truth. If you know the truth, and because of your likeness for somebody or for something, or some people, and you hide the truth, you are a criminal, you are a liar, and you yourself, you are a problem to Liberia, George. Where is not a problem? I'm saying this today. So with that being said, I want to say Liberia is what we have. And I'm hopeful. If I've never been hopeful in my life, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because the Liberian people's eyes will be open. As long as some of us keep around, we will continue to say the truth and hold everybody accountable, whether you are in opposition, you are in the ruling party, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. For me, I don't care. You like me, cool. You don't like me, cool. At the end of the day, I still like all Liberians. And I love the Liberian people. So we'll continue to say the truth. And Mr. Kane, again, thank you so much. I look forward to us having another discussion because I really would love to touch on the alcohol and the drug abuse and other things because that's one of my expertise as well. I would like to talk on it so that the Liberian people's eyes can be open to it that even in Corona season, you shouldn't be drinking liquor. You should not. But we'll talk on that another time.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. All right, that was Brother Steve Boley. Steve Boley is a resident of Phoenix, Arizona. Let me see here. Something just went wrong. Yeah. Brother Steve Boley is a resident of Phoenix, Arizona. He was the guest for today. I want to say thank you to all of you for coming. Today we really enjoy what we just heard. I personally enjoy it. I don't know about you, but I did enjoy it. But that will do it for today. We will be here tomorrow. We are expecting some important guests tomorrow, and on Wednesday, and on Thursday. Until then, y'all have a wonderful day.
Get